Well, hello everybody and happy Thursday and welcome to episode 10 of the Creative Coffee Cafe. I am your caffeine loving, totally addicted host, Brooke Spaggart, and today I have my special guest with me to my left. I have Dustin Belvin with me today, and I promise you that this discussion is not going to be boring. I met Dustin a few weeks ago, and I think we talked for our initial meeting was only supposed to be 20 minutes, but it was like an hour.
Yeah, I like to talk a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. Dustin is a shoot straight from the hip, no bullshit sort of guy, and that's why I love him, and that's why I had to have him on the show with me today. So introduce yourself, Dustin. Tell us a little bit more about you, and then we'll get into our discussion here today.
For sure. So, my name is Dustin Belvin. I am a copywriter by trade, email wizard, and an awkward exerciser. I'm not good at exercising at all. I try sometimes, but mostly just eat. Um, my thing is storytelling, right? Like I've always been about that ever since I was a kid. Maybe the stories I was telling when I was a kid wasn't the kind I'm telling now. Just but either way, that's my thing, and I email my list every day. I mostly every day. Sometimes I don't. Most times I do, and I will get into the why I use email and all this different stuff. But in short, that's my thing, right? I write emails for people. I help them make a shit ton of money from their emails. And today, hopefully, you guys are going to pick up some gems here to do the same thing with your list.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm glad we're talking about emailing because I feel like it's something that everybody knows they should be doing, but they either don't even have a list created yet, or they maybe have a list and they're afraid to be emailing or being annoying or whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
let's talk a little bit about. You had told me that anybody can do this.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Storytelling, anybody can do this, and anybody can email their list every day. So let's talk a little bit about that. How the hell am I supposed to email my list every single day?
Well, let's talk about something that you mentioned a minute ago first,
Okay.
as far as why people don't email every day, and it's that annoying thing, right? They think they're going to be annoying, and a big reason that we think that is why, because we have people in our inbox annoying the shit out of us every single day, right?
That's right.
Oh,
That's
and I
right.
think we talked about this before. Cursing, we're good. Like I don't.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
allowed to curse. We're allowed to curse here a little bit.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I've been
I'll
known to
try to
throw
rein it
the
in
bomb
some. Okay. So, well, yeah, so that's a big problem, right? It's like we get like, okay, for example, let's say we're wanting to learn how to email every single day, right? And
Mm-hmm.
and you see somebody's list that says, okay, here's how to email every day. And you get their lead magnet or whatever, and you get on their list. Well, then you get all this hypey shit, right? You get these super hypey like, oh my god, you got to get this now because if you don't get it now, you're never gonna get it. And then the next week it's the same shit. Oh, I opened the cart again. You might want to get in here and do this. The cart breaks at midnight, because you always get that. Oh, the
It's
shopping cart broke.
it's kind of like those late night TV infomercials sort of feeling to them.
It is, except for
If
worse
you buy
because
now,
I
we'll
actually.
throw in an extra one, free shipping.
Well, agreed, right? But the difference is, I actually enjoy watching those. Like, I don't like reading your lame ass emails, and that's the thing. It's like your emails don't have to be lame, and today you're going to learn how to not have lame emails. Okay, so let's just cover. Here's a few things we're going to get into. One of the things is an old word trick that was used by the ancient Greeks that will get your sales messages welcomed with open arms and loved by your audience. So that's something we're going to talk about. Um,
Okay.
Another thing we're going to talk about is how to hack into your client's daily schedule so they are programmed to seek you out and your emails out every single day. Okay. Also going to show you how to get your clients and your audience and your list literally addicted to you. This triggers the exact same areas in the brain as does drugs like cocaine and ecstasy. And take it from me, I used to do a lot of both, and it works the same way. Okay. We're also going to get into how to become a welcomed guest instead of an annoying pest. This was made
Yeah.
popular by a guy named Dan Kennedy, super cool guy. Um, the best part for you guys probably in this whole thing is going to be the three words that have made me more money than anything else in my business and how you can use the three words to turn anything into an email, okay? And then the last thing, and probably one of the better things, is how to discover the acres of diamonds that are sitting right under your nose. Okay.
I'm assuming this is just how to frame your mind so that just as your regular day-to-day life stuff happens to you, you can take that and
Yep.
turn it into something productive and valuable as a
Exactly. Exactly. And that's the beautiful thing, right? It's like you you have the most important thing on this planet, right? And it's the space between your ears. The space between your ears is the absolute most powerful, most important, most beautiful thing on this planet. The only thing that you have to do is learn how to use the space between your ears to examine your day to day activities and turn them into emails. And it's a lot easier than you think, and we're going to get into that in just a second. So let's talk about why it works, right? Let's talk about the why, and then we're going to get into the how. So a long time ago, I think it's like the turn of the 14th, maybe the 15th century. Some shit went down over in Greece, right? Or not in Greece, with the Trojans, right? So
right?
I can't remember exactly what happened, but basically, the dude who was over Troy, like the leader of Troy, right? His wife or his daughter or some female in his court basically got
All
court.
those damn females.
It's always a problem with the lady. You guys have been the problem since Adam and Eve, right? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But seriously, so this lady, like she gets messing with one of the Greek guys. I can't remember his name, but it basically starts a war, like an actual war, and the Greeks are laying siege to the city of Troy for like 10 years.
Right.
Well, finally somebody's like, okay, let's just figure out a new trick, right? Let's be sneaky, right? So what they do is they build this giant wooden horse and they leave it on the beach. They leave one guy behind and they say, hey, we're done. We're done fighting. We've been wasting all this time. We're out. And they
Yeah.
sail off, right? The people of Troy bring the horse in. They tell them it's a gift to the goddess of war. So they bring that horse in. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the story, but then that night, a bunch of people jump out of the horse. The people who left, right, they sail back. They open the gates. The city of Troy is ransacked, right?
Yeah.
They welcomed that gift into the city. Telling stories and using the stuff from your everyday life is the exact same thing. The reason, except in a good way, you're not going to burn their shit down. Okay, it's the exact same thing because what happens, right, is we see all those emails, right? We see all these hypey emails, and we see those, and we're like, man, really, nobody can really do that, right? And they're not going to be able to do that. It's way too much. There will be a few people that buy, right? But most people aren't going to buy from those emails. But if you come in and you're like, for example, I like to use this example a lot for like graphic designers, right? Do you have any graphic designers that watch your show?
Possibly.
I
Yeah.
want to make it relevant, right? So let's use graphic designers. It's just an easier one to use. Let's say here's a perfect example. Let's say you're a graphic designer and you want to write an email to your list, okay? And your list is full of people who may potentially want your graphic design services. You're like, man, I went to the store, I went to Walmart yesterday, and on the way to Walmart, I seen this billboard, and oh man, it was really fucking bad. Like the colors were like all over the place. Like it was absolutely terrible. One of the ugliest billboards I've ever seen. Okay, and it was a new billboard. They had just bought it, right? So I'm standing in line at Walmart, and and there's these two people in front of me, and they're talking about that billboard. they're literally like in line making fun of that billboard right in front of me, the exact same one I just seen. It was
Right.
crazy. Like I couldn't and they were really giving it to this guy. They were just making fun of it super hard. Like obviously he doesn't know what he's doing. Why would you put something like that up for people to look at, right?
Okay.
Well, now you've established that vision, right? And like that right there is an email. All that I just said is an email. So that's the first part of that email, right? You've established that vision of like I don't want people making fun of me, right? So
Mm-hmm.
and then you tie that in. Okay, so they're making fun of it, and it's just I hate to see stuff like that happen to people. If you don't want your signs to be made fun of, make sure you hire a good graphic designer. You can check out my stuff here, right?
Yeah.
And that's it. Like you just tie it, just something that happened to you that day, and then you tie it into your thing. You don't want to be like this. Here's the solution, right? And that's in a nutshell, right? The simple way to do that.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure we can all come up with stories. Anytime we're sitting around with people and they talk about their experiences with other businesses or the service they've just received by somebody, whether it's positive or negative, you can take that. And of course, you don't have to like give away who it is and who the business is. Like if we're, you're not in the business of making people feel bad or
Yeah,
or
exactly.
being negative towards other business owners and stuff. But you can take that situation and you can turn it into something.
Yeah, you like, and it doesn't just have to be with. It doesn't even have to be stuff in real life, right? For example, I wrote an email about how Moana persuaded a demigod. Right? Like I wrote an email about that because, like in that movie, it was a perfect example of using status, something that all humans crave, whether you want to believe you do or not. Right? Something that all humans crave. How she used status in order to get him to do what she wanted him to do. And it wasn't evil and it wasn't really manipulative. He already wanted to do that. She just framed it story wise in a way to where he's seen himself achieving that goal and then he wanted to do it. Right?
Right.
And that's the key. And here's how you do it, right? So we talked about the why it works and the Trojan horse, and you're telling these stories. Like one of the big reasons, right? One of the big reasons why stories are such a big deal, and like and that's the new thing, right? You hear all these people talking about storytelling and how important it is and all this, but for the most part, the reason that they're saying it is because they heard somebody else say it, right? They don't know actually why that's happening. Well, the reason that it works, right, is because thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, whenever we were getting eaten by everything, right, whenever everything and its mama was trying to kill us, what we would do is tell stories in order to help people not die, right? So let's say Uck and Buck. I think we went over this.
I remember Uck and Buck.
Yeah. So let's say I'm in the prehistoric era. Me and my two buddies, Uck and Buck, we go out and we're hunting for food. All right. Well, there's a giant tiger or a lion or a bear. Oh my! Right. That comes out and it attacks us. And guess what? Uck and Buck don't make it. Uck and Buck got fucked, and now they're gone. They're dead. Right. Well, I make it back to the family, and I say, "Hey, you guys need to listen. Me and Uncle Buck were out, right? And then that listen, okay, now we were out, we were hunting, we were doing this. That's a story.
Yeah.
Well, scientifically, what happens whenever they hear that, especially whenever they hear that stressor, it triggers a chemical in their brain, in your brain, in every human's brain, called cortisol. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Cortisol is the stressor. It's what stimulates the fight or flight. Right? It's what makes you pay attention. It's what makes your eyes dilate and you take in more information. And now you got to make sure you're not dead. Well, because of that, over the years, over the eons and the centuries and all that, now anytime we hear a story, even if there's not an immediate threat, even if there's no danger, right? If we see the words, let me tell you a story, our little ears perk up and we're on the lookout because we don't know what's going to happen, right? We've been conditioned through thousands of years to do this, right?
Well, I think we all love to share stories.
Yeah, hell yeah. Why not? Like,
Dustin, you're falling off the screen here. You're talking to yourself.
Yeah.
There we go.
But no, everybody loves telling stories. Everybody loves hearing stories, and it's because they make us feel good. Like, and we're gonna get into that here in a minute, like about the making us feel good thing.
Mm-hmm.
So before we get into that, let's get the how out of the way. I'm not gonna make you wait to the very end of the how, right? Let's just get into it right now. So we talked about the stories and we talked about why they work, a little bit. Here's how to do it, right? Here's a simple, easy 3 words that'll make anything that you see or experience, you can turn into an email. The 3 words are kind of like. 2 words if you're from the South, kind of like. All right? So, kind of like. And,
like.
Yeah, it's one of those super easy things. For example, I was watching a movie with my son the other day. I was watching Moana with my son, and they got to this part where Moana was trying to convince him to do something, but he really didn't want to do it. So what she did was she appealed to his sense of godliness and his sense of ego and his sense of status, and convinced him that exactly. You're so amazing. Yeah, that right. She does that, and then automatically he's like, yes, status. I want that. It's kind of like whenever you're selling your graphic design services, right? And you're able to increase the implied or perceived status of your clients, right? It's just like that. If you can show your clients that your services will increase their status, they will do business with you. It's kind of like the exact same thing that Moana did to Maui, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those three words, right? And it seems way more difficult than it actually is. It really does, because everybody's like, oh, well, I need to know this copywriting thing. And yeah, it is good to know some of that stuff, right? But
Yeah.
you do not have to know that before you can tell somebody a story. You tell stories every single day.
Well,
Every single day.
when you put it that way, you say it's kind of like when Moana did that to Maui. If you've ever watched that movie, that story's already been told. You're familiar with that story. So you
Exactly.
don't even have to go ahead and repeat the story. You just have to say it's kind of like that.
You
You
just
know?
piggyback off of it, right? And here's the beautiful thing, right? That movie, the reason that I use stuff like that is because I'm a parent, okay?
And
And
I
my
love animated movies.
yeah, right. I'm all. It's like I like to blame, like, oh, I have to watch this movie all day with my kid. I'm gonna watch this shit anyway. Right?
Yeah, I
Let's have
totally
a good
watched them
excuse.
before I had my daughter too.
Exactly.
Now it
So
just feels like you have a legitimate reason to do it.
yeah. Well, and the cool thing is, right? The cool thing is like my ideal client, right? They're also a parent, right? They're a parent. They're trying to provide for their family. One of the reasons that's my ideal client is because that's a really good thing to hit on in your copy. Hey, do you want to have skinny kids? No. Let me write your copy so you can make some money and you can feed them, right? Like, and I have said that before, not in those exact words, but I've said something like that. Well, and that's my thing, right? Is like you tell those stories that are I like the Moana thing. You knew exactly what I was talking about. And now not only do you have the story that I told, right? Now you have the entire movie that gives you a really good feeling, right? Because that movie's fucking amazing. I'm getting chill bumps just thinking about it right now. Okay, like you get a good feeling because all the feelings from that movie come flooding in, and guess what? They're packed right on top of my name. They're packed right on top of your name
Mm-hmm.
because you just put yourself right next to them, which gets us into our next point
Okay.
of, and this one's going to be a shocker to some of you, how to be a drug dealer. Okay, now, not not cocaine and ecstasy, right? We're not dealing
Dopamine.
those kind of drugs. Yeah, dopamine.
There
That's what we want to deal. We want to deal dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, the good stuff, right?
we
No one's addicted to meth, right? No one's addicted to things. They're addicted to the feelings that the drugs give. No one's addicted to ecstasy. They're addicted to all the fucking dopamine that your brain pushes out whenever you snort one of those things or pop one of them or whatever your preferred intake is. But that's the thing, right?
I feel like at this point I have to say to everybody that we're not here to push drugs on you.
We're
This
not.
is not.
We're not here to push drugs on you. We're here to teach you how to push drugs on your clients. In a totally legal, 100% ethical way, right? Nothing that we're doing, nothing that we're talking about is going to get you in trouble.
Yeah.
So the reason that I say that, right? The reason, other than the shock factor of like, hey, here's how to get your clients hooked on you, right? Other than that, it really does happen, right? And here's a great example of this. I'm on a guy's email list, Ben Settle. And anybody that's on Ben Settle's email list, right? If you ask them, hey, when does Ben send his emails? They'll be able to tell you. I tested this out the other day
Same time.
because they test them out at the same time, like a fucking rat in a box. We get fed that little bit because his emails are very interesting to read.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on getting mine out at the same time every day just because of that factor.
Okay.
But the thing is, stories have the exact same effect on your brain as those things. Now, maybe not as powerful, obviously, because it's not, but it can be, right?
Well, and if you're always sharing stories that make people laugh or feel good,
Exactly.
then they look forward to that. Like it's the overly salesy and kind of making you feel awkward
Yep.
and sold to emails that really turn you off, and you don't look forward to that. Like I actually subscribe to. I get emails on a daily basis from the universe.
Yeah.
The universe and I are like this. And every morning I wake up and that email is in my inbox, and it's actually one of the first ones I read.
Yeah.
Because it's just, sometimes I get what they're saying and sometimes I don't. But
yeah. Well, it's because you enjoy it, right? It's because you actually enjoy it. And that's the beautiful thing about writing emails like that, is that people actually seek them out, right? I've went 2 or 3 days without emailing my list before, and they're like, "Hey, what happened? Where's your emails at? I need my fix," right? Like that's essentially what they're saying. I really like reading your stuff. Where's the emails at?
So
And like, Yeah.
You think so? People think that if they email or put out, okay, so in this case, we're talking about email, but you can basically apply this concept to anything, whether it's your social media posts or whatever. But people are scared to put stuff out every day on a regular basis because they don't want to be annoying. But what you're telling me is that as long as it's fun and entertaining and positive and you share stories or whatever, that actually builds relationships and people will switch from not really knowing who you are to feeling like you're friends and looking forward to your messages every day.
100%. Who do people buy from? Who do you buy from?
People that they know, like, and trust.
Bingo. How do you get people to know you? Right?
You have to share. You have to let them get to know you.
You share shit like, I like the movie Moana. I like to go watch Infinity Wars. I like every Avengers movie that's ever came out, right? They know you. And if you do the first part right, you do the K right. I sent out an email about this the other day. If you do the K right, the no, right? KLT, no like trust. You do the K right, the L takes care of itself. Because the people that don't like Moana and the people that don't give a shit about cartoons, guess what? They're going to leave. You don't have to deal with them anymore. All right? You don't have to deal with them anymore.
You're filtering them out.
Exactly. And that's one thing that's one thing that people are scared of. They see those unsubscribes, right? And that just hurts their little hearts. And it's just, oh, they don't like my stuff. Why are they leaving? Oh, no. Fuck those guys, man. Don't worry about the people that are leaving, right? Those people that are leaving were never going to buy from you in the first place. They were never going to know you. They don't even want to like you. They were either looking for something free, right? And they were never going to buy anything, or they were just bored and wanted to jump on somebody's email list. I do that sometimes just to read their emails, right?
Yeah. Or on the other side of things too, like sometimes people come and go because of different things that are going on. So perhaps they signed up for your stuff because at one point they wanted to learn more about that, or that was like their goal for that year. But then life happens or something changes, and then because they're getting these emails from you on a regular basis, it's actually just reminding them of how much they haven't put forth the effort to learn how to do it. And so it's just a constant reminder to them that makes them feel bad. And it has nothing to do with you and your message. Nope. So they unsubscribe, because I've done that before too, where I'm like, this makes me feel terrible because I was supposed to be doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so
if you do it right, if you do it right, you're going to get unsubscribes almost every day. I get, like, when I don't get unsubscribes, I'm like, shit, what did I do wrong? Like,
I've heard if you're not pissing somebody off, you're not doing your job right.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, and see, that phrase right there gets a lot of people into trouble because they don't understand to piss people off in the right way, right? They do it as a tactic, right? Oh, I'm going to get out here and I'm going to make some people mad today. Instead of just, like, what about you upsets people, right? What about you do people not like? People don't like about me that a lot of the times I'm a pretty direct guy. Fuck those guys. I don't want them on my list. Fuck them, you know?
Yeah.
And some people don't like that, right? The people that don't like that are going to go their happy, merry way, and that's fine. Thank you. You're saving me the trouble and saving me money, because if you're not going to buy from me, I don't want you on my list because I got to pay for everybody on my list, right?
Right.
So, again, unsubscribes are not a bad thing, and it's not you.
Yeah, and we've talked about this lots in other shows with other guests or whatever, about making sure that the people that are following you are the right people for you. That's how you're filtering them out. That's how you're attracting your tribe, right? Is by being you. And if that means you're bold and you curse and you swear and you do this and you smoke and you drink and you like whatever, then the people that like you for that will follow you for that. And the people that don't, then they'll go off and find this Susie Perfect too.
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. And that's exactly right. And that's totally fine, because that person, if they buy from you, they're going to be the biggest pain in your ass. You are going to regret every dollar you take from them, because they're not going to like you. And now you're going to have to deal with that. One of my buddies, I don't know if you guys know Nathan Frazier, but Nathan Frazier is very, very, very good at weeding people out. This dude will get on his freaking phone or on his Facebook Live and he'll light up a bowl. He'll roll it. Like, one of his videos is him like rolling a joint. Like, here's how I roll joints, right? And all the people who don't like that shit, they're going to go away. All the people that love it, they're going to be right there. I could actually do better at this, right? Like, I don't feel like I'm polarizing enough sometimes. And I can get pretty polarizing, right? So it's like, it's something that, if you start doing it, right, and you're going to be scared shitless, okay? I'm telling you right now. Let me look at you in the eyeballs so that you really understand this, okay? You're going to be scared shitless, okay? You're going to be worried about what people think. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to be scared that they're going to unsubscribe. You're going to be scared they're going to make fun. They're going to be doing all those things. And I'm telling you right now, all of that's going to happen. So
Mm-hmm.
why worry about it? Why worry about it? Right? There are people I know that make fun of me behind my back, right? That's fine. Fuck those guys. They're not my people, right? They're not your people. Those people are not who you are. The people that are going to follow you are the people that like you for you. The people that are going to buy from you,
Yeah.
right, are going to buy from you partly, mostly because of you, right? Because everybody sells what you sell. Everybody, like tons of people sell emails, right? Lots of people sell email marketing. But
Mm-hmm.
nobody sells Dustin, right? Nobody else sells me. Nobody else sells you. Nobody sells Brooke. Nobody sells. It doesn't work like that, right? Because you're being, what do they call it? What's
Authentic.
the? Yeah. Your true authentic self is what people like to say
Well,
nowadays, and
and this
it's
all plays part and parcel into building your brand and making sure that
yes,
the content and the things that you put out in the world, and that includes you personally being at a networking event or picking up
yep,
groceries or like whatever. Like if people run into you and they don't feel like you're the same person that they've kind of got to know and like in an
mm-hmm.
email or on live video or whatever, there's this huge disconnect. And people don't
Exactly,
want to work with people that are fakey fake. Like you
yeah.
just, I
Well,
mean,
and
for business purposes, I could tone down my F bombs a little bit, but when you're sitting around with me and or I'm at the grocery store, and my kid's acting like an idiot, like I'm probably going to tell her to
yeah,
smarten the
exactly,
fuck up, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
and that's just who I am. And
Yeah, well, and that's exactly right, right? That's how you get clients coming to you, right? That's one. Everybody hates cold outreach, right? Everybody hates cold outreach. Nobody. It feels spammy or salesy. Salesy is the word that we're
yeah,
using now. It feels salesy, and nobody likes it. What we want is people coming to us, right? What we want is to be a welcomed guest instead of an annoying pest, right? And here's the story that goes along with that. Dan Kennedy, a long time ago, super famous marketer, one of the OGs. Like he's the guy that all the fake book gurus, like the fake book gurus, like
okay,
he's the one that people copy and try to pass his shit off as theirs, right? He's one of the founding fathers, whatever. Long time ago, he was a consultant, right? He was doing a lot of consulting, and what he would do, he wasn't ever home. Well, he would come home, and while he was home, the only thing he would do is take consulting calls. So he's sitting on a consulting call one day, talking to this guy, and somebody comes beating on his door, and he just ignores it. In the middle of the day, who's knocking on your door at the middle of the day? It's a fucking salesman, right? That's who's knocking on your door. So he ignores it. He keeps talking to the guy, and it gets louder. He's like, "What the hell?" And he just ignores it. Then, right, so he's sitting, like you can see my chair right here, right? There's a door. Let's pretend that over there is my back door, right?
okay,
So he's sitting over here, and then he hears a fucking knock on his back door, his glass door, and looks back there, and there's a dude standing there beating on his thing. He goes to open it, and he's like, "Oh, fine, whatever." He goes to open it, his whole yard's on fire.
oh,
his whole backyard is in flames, and this guy was there to help him. In a
right.
split second, he went from being the most annoying pest to a welcome guest. And why is that? Right? The reason, and this came
Because
directly
he was
from a
there for
trading,
me to help.
he was there with the right message for the right person at the right time, right? That's why that happened. That's
Mm-hmm.
the exact same thing that email every single day allows you to do. Because let's say you join my email list and you're like, man, I need some emails, but I just don't have the money to pay Dustin. I'm not a cheap person, right? It's going to cost some money to hire me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know that because I tell you that. Well, it's not. I got the right person, and I got the right message, but it's not the right time right now. But if I email you every day and you enjoy my content and you stay on my list, eventually it's going to be the right time. And
Right.
once that happens, nothing else matters. You come to me. I'm emailing you every day, yeah, sure, but you've told me I could. You've opted in. You said, and I tell you in the first email you get when you sign up, even before you sign up, it says, I'm going to email you every day. And then you sign up and you get on my list. And in that first email says, just to let you know, you're going to get an email from me every day.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You prep them for it. You don't that's one thing that everybody's like, oh God, if I just start emailing. And a lot of you probably have dead lists. A lot of people probably have a list they've never started emailing. Right? Here's your little nugget. Here's something that I charge people money for. Right? In that email, that you haven't sent to them in a long time, say, hey, I know it's been a long time since I've emailed you. Just want to let you know I'm about to start emailing you a whole lot more every single day. If you don't want that, you should probably unsubscribe.
I've
And
actually
because,
received emails like that before too.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
you know, like and they're being pretty honest with me. I can't remember. Yeah, one specific person was like, "Hey, I'm switching my strategy. I'm working with a new strategy coach, and
yeah,
so we're gonna do. I think it was like one email every 2 days or something like
yeah,
that. Like, and basically saying if you're not interested, then make sure you unsubscribe now, so that I'm not a pain in your butt. Like,
yeah,
but this is the kind of stuff I'm going to be sending you. And once
yeah,
you kind of figure it out, once you list what that is and you can know what to expect, then I get to make an educated decision of whether I want to stay or not.
exactly.
And
You're
I don't
putting
feel
it
like
back
I'm
on them.
forced into anything.
Exactly, and that's a big thing, right? That's taking away, and this came from a guy named Jim Camp. He's passed away now. Considered the world's most feared negotiator, right? Taking away someone's ability to say no is the absolute worst thing that you can do in any kind of sales or marketing, right? So just starting to email them every day, they feel like they're being, like you said, they feel like they're being forced into it. But you
Right.
give them the option, and because you're saying, hey, if you don't want this, a lot of people are going to stay out of sheer fucking honesty. Just because you are more legitimate and you're more authentic or whatever word you want to use, right, than all the other people out there.
Yeah.
You're actually giving them the option as opposed to just blasting their fucking inbox every day.
Well, and like you said, many of us are offering products or services that many other people do as well. So by you acknowledging that and saying, "Hey, listen, like you can go,
Yeah.
you can buy that product here. You can go to Walmart and buy that product there. Like I really don't care, but
Yeah.
this is how I add value, or this is this is what
Exactly.
I do." And
Well, and that's the beautiful
honestly,
thing
good.
about the daily emails, right? That's the great thing about the daily emails is because, like I said earlier, I'm not the only one that sells email marketing services. There's a bunch of people that sell email marketing services. But
Right.
by being on my list and hearing from me every day, every single day, when the words email marketing pop up anywhere, guess whose name you think they think of? They think of yours. Because you've
Right.
been emailing them every day. Whenever they see graphic design, you've been emailing them about graphic design every day. Whenever you about your product, about whatever it is, doesn't matter. You are top of mind constantly because every single day you're making your customers happy by sending them something entertaining. And this is something that we talked about. Everybody preaches about value. We got to provide value. Yes,
Right.
you got to provide value, but that word does not fucking mean what you think it means. It
Right.
does not mean give away all your best shit for free. That's not what that means.
Yeah.
That can be part of it, right? It can be part of it, but that's not all of it. Entertainment is valuable. We go pay god awful amounts of money to go to a movie and buy
Oh,
a fucking giant deal of $15 popcorn that there's no way in hell we're going to eat all of, strictly so we can be entertained and
yeah.
because we put value in that entertainment.
We
Right?
chalk it up to an entertainment expense or
Exactly.
something. Yep.
Exactly. And when you're giving somebody, and here's the thing, man, and I know this sounds kind of dreary and it sounds kind of dull, but most people are very unhappy. Most people are quite unhappy. Maybe with some sort of part of their life, or they have to go to work and they have to do all the same shit that they do every single day. But when you're in their inbox giving them something they look forward to, guess what the fucking highlight of their day is? It's you. You get to
Mm-hmm.
be the highlight of someone's day. You get to be the thing that makes them not hate this 5 minutes. And I know that again. I know that sounds bad, but it's true. It really is. There's a lot
Well,
of people out there. Like,
and hopefully that's what Creative Coffee Cafe is. Is this is the something that people get every Thursday over their noon hour that makes them not hate their Thursday.
exactly. Like here's an hour or 30 minutes or however long your show is that I'm just going to strictly enjoy, going to lose myself in it, and not think about anything else. We've all got obligations, man. And when I say unhappy, I mean like we've got to go to work. We've got to fucking put another $50 of gas in our car. We have to go to the
Yeah,
doctor. We have to pay insurance.
I, gas has gone up so high here that I wasn't even empty. I think I still had a quarter of a tank. It cost me $80.
Ugh.
Fill it.
Ugh. Yeah.
I know.
Buy a fucking
And
bicycle, man.
well, I'm thinking about getting a really cool scooter.
Yeah, there you go. Hell, it's almost cheaper to fucking Uber than it is to drive yourself around. Sounds like.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah. It's
crazy,
crazy.
man. But yeah, that's and here's another reason, and this is the last thing that I have here. Another reason why this stuff works, right? And why I'm so into it. There's this guy named Earl Nightingale. I don't know if you're familiar with Earl Nightingale or not. He was, I want to say he was like a super like famous steel magnate. He was a radio personality, all these different things. Very successful dude. Started Nightingale Conant, which is a publishing place. They were like one of the first people to get into audio trainings, right? They recorded the audio trainings, and you could buy their trainings, and you could listen to them before audiobooks was a thing. Before any of that was a thing, right? Mm-hmm. So he had this story. I heard it in there. It was actually told by the guy who founded Temple University. I can't remember his name. But there was this African farmer, right, during the height of the diamond craze, right? There was this African farmer, and he'd heard all these stories of all these people finding diamond mines all across the African continent. And he owned a nice chunk of land, a big farm, right? And he wanted to get rich just like all the other people were. So he sells his farm for some cash, and then he goes out prospecting for diamonds, and he searches everywhere, all over the fucking place, far and wide. Does not find shit. Finds absolutely nothing. Ends up getting so depressed over it, he throws himself into a river and kills himself. Meanwhile, the guy who bought his farm is taking a stroll and stumbles across a creek. And then he looks down in the creek, and there's a giant shiny rock. And guess what? That giant shiny rock turned out to be one of the biggest diamonds ever found on this planet. That property that the original farmer sold ended up being the most productive diamond mine on the African continent. Yeah. He owned it, free and clear. But because he didn't take the time to look right under his nose at all the beautiful things that he already had, and he went to look elsewhere, he never got a hold of it. Ended up dying because of it, right? Yeah. It's the same thing with us. We think that we don't have anything to talk about. That's one big thing that I used to have this problem too. And you hear me preaching like, oh, of course you got something. I used to be the same way.
Dustin, you can't tell me that you don't have anything to talk about.
Well, yeah, I used to, right? Before I got into the emails, right? It's like, people think that they don't have anything to talk about. Oh, what am I going to talk about every day? Ask yourself this. How can you call yourself an expert if you can't talk about your thing every day? Right? How can you call yourself an expert and you can't? And I don't say that to demean you. I say that to get your brain going. The space between your fucking ears is the most important and beautiful thing on this planet. And if you use that, every part of your day can be an email. Hey, I went to the store, this thing happened, blah, blah, blah. Hey, I watched this movie, this thing happened. Hey, I was reading this book, really cool concept in this book. It's kind of like how when you do this, right? Just like that. And all it takes is just using this right here to sit down for 20, 30 minutes and examine the things that have happened and just relate them to your thing. Right? Yeah. Relate them to the feelings.
I'm noticing more and more of this happening, and there's a few people that come to mind right away because they consistently do this in their social media posts. And they're using this strategy on Facebook, and they're using this on LinkedIn.
Yep.
And they're simply telling stories. They're telling stories about their employees. They're telling stories about their clients. They're telling stories about their family. Everything is a story. And it's exactly what you're talking about. They're taking the exact same principles and concepts of taking everyday events and turning them into something where there's sort of like a lesson learned, I guess. Yeah. And that right there is the little valuable nugget or the little diamonds that you can be sharing. And if you're constantly sharing lessons with somebody in a way that somewhat relates to who you are and how you can serve people, then yeah, as soon as they think of a problem, they think of you and the solutions.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. That's exactly right, because you're in their inbox and your thing is right next to your name, and those two things become associated with each other from then on out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. I love it. It's one of the best things. And here's the thing, like you said, it works for LinkedIn, it works for video, it works for email, it works for Snapchat, it works for literally anything that you are talking to someone with. It works. As long as they have, I was going to say, as long as they have ears and eyes to hear and see your story, they don't even need that. If you can fucking write a story in Braille, write a story in Braille. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. It's blind, deaf, dumb, doesn't matter. We want and crave stories. That's why we watch news. That's why we read books. That's why we get into Facebook drama. What do you think a freaking Facebook thread with 300 comments is? That is one big-ass story that I'm going to spend the next 30 minutes looking through.
Oh, my God. That's exactly what happened to me about 2 days ago. So I don't know if in your area there's like these local like rant and rave pages.
Oh God.
I hate them. I hate them, and I don't like being a part of them.
Nope.
So I stay away from them for that purpose, is I don't want to get into like this negative.
Yeah, exactly. You get sucked in, it turns into a whole shit show.
Totally. But so somebody on one of the like garage sale pages decided to do something funny and put their friend up for sale. And it was hilarious.
Yeah.
But you know what? That thread went on and on and on, and people were getting mad about it. And they're like, oh, you're so immature, blah, blah, blah. And guess what I did? I went through and I read everything.
Every single one of them. Every single one of them.
Exactly. Story, and it got me intrigued. And
exactly.
And you realize that some people are just stupid, and you can't fix stupid.
Yeah,
and
you can't.
If you don't have a fucking sense of humor, like life's gonna get really boring for you.
Yeah, exactly, man. That's exactly right. And it's cool. Look, here's the thing. Like I said earlier, most people are scared to do this. Most people are scared to get on video every day. Most people are scared to write an email every day. Most people are scared to do anything consistently every day for fear that they're going to be annoying. And you're not. Here's why, right? Because everybody else feels the exact same way as you do. Mm-hmm. Everybody is scared shitless to go Facebook Live every single day, or even every other day, or even once a week. They're scared to get on Facebook Live at all. I've read somewhere that like people fear public speaking more than fucking dying. That's big. That's really big.
Well, I have to say, thankfully, that's the opposite for me. I actually
same here. Let me talk. If that can keep me from the grave, I will talk all day.
My worst fear is that I die doing a Facebook Live.
Right? It's like fucking wow. But yeah, that's the thing, is most people are scared to do that. Right? They're scared shitless to do that. So guess what? When you do it, they respect you for it. Yes. Are all of them going to respect you? No. A lot of them are going to troll you. And guess what? If people are trolling you, you know you're doing something right. Because
want to see.
They have taken the time out of their day to tell you touched something. Don't know what it was. Don't know which emotion. Don't know what it was. But you need to do more of it. And you'll figure it out after a while. You'll see what hot buttons that you have and the things that you can say. And you'll figure out your voice and your way and all that different stuff. You just have to do it. Again, that's the biggest thing. If you're having trouble with doing something consistently every day, go join 30-day Facebook Live Challenge group. It's a group started by Sean Manaher. I know I'm promoting other people's shit, and it's supposed to be my time in the spotlight, but it needs to happen. Like, if you're scared to do emails every day.
There's lots of people that do Facebook Live challenges and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. It's because, you know why? It's because they fucking work. It's because they work. Like, okay, here you go.
Because at the end of 30 days, it's no big deal to push that button. Because you push yourself out of the comfort zone.
Exactly. And it doesn't even take that long. After about 4 or 5 days, you're like, okay. And what happens is you get addicted to doing it. Because you get on there and people start smashing that fucking heart button and you see all the hearts and the smiles and the likes and you're just, yeah, this is great. I want to do this all the time because it makes you feel good. Because it increases your status and it gets that dopamine going and it gets all the feel-good chemicals going. At first, you get the cortisol. That's what you're feeling right now, even thinking about going Facebook Live. You get the cortisol. You get the part that stresses you the fuck out and you fight or flight and you're ready to fly away now. All right? But you work past that. And you will start to feel absolutely amazing. Because people are going to comment. And here's the thing. You're scared of trolls? You're scared about people talking shit to you? Your people will shut them the fuck down. Trust me. I was doing a Facebook Live video one time. And one of my colleagues got on there just to mess with me. This lady that I work with in my regular job. She got on there to mess with me and start smashing the angry button. And people in that thread were like, who the fuck is smashing the angry button? Stop. They went crazy. Your people will protect you, trust me, because they respect you for doing it, and anybody that tries to disrespect you for doing it will get shut the fuck down. And if they don't, tag me, I'll come shut them down for you.
There you go. And I honestly believe that we, in the back of our minds, for some reason, we always think that people are just waiting for us to screw up and wanting us to, but I think deep down inside, people really do want to see other people succeed.
Yeah. Maybe
for the reason of, hey, I watched that person do it and they're succeeding, and it just kind of gives you that little extra motivation to do it yourself. I don't know. I think more people want to see you do well than see you fall flat on your face.
That is 100% correct.
Yeah.
Because if you can do it, it gives them hope that they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. But now some of them will, right? I'm not going to say that. But most of them won't. But they'll watch you do it because they're living vicariously through you.
Right.
Your success becomes their success, and that's why tribes work, right? Because it's a shared thing. They're your people. They're going to come to your aid.
And if in the case you do happen to trip and fall and land flat on your face, that's a prime opportunity, in my opinion, to be like, guess what, you guys? I screwed up.
Yep.
Or this happened. Be human about it, because
exactly,
by you acknowledging you screwed up or whatever, like, it totally brings you back down to everybody's level. I feel like sometimes people put you kind of up on a pedestal because they look up to you. Mm-hmm. You know, you do things that they wish they could do and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So admitting your failures and keeping that, I don't know, keeping that a little bit more level.
You're right. And you want that, right? You want people to put you up on that pedestal. That's the point. That's where your status and that's where your expertise and that's where all that stuff comes from. But you have to remind them occasionally that you're not a god. Why are we so attracted to Greek history? Why are we so attracted to Greek gods? Because those Greek gods were fucking human. They were cheating on their wives and shit. They were doing shit that regular people do, right? And that's why they were so revered and so respected, because they weren't this almighty thing that just can do no wrong and just blah, blah, blah. It's because they were human, right? You can be a god, okay? You can be a god. But you do have to remind people that you're still human too, you know?
Good advice.
Boy, so, if you take anything away from this, it's be a drug dealer and become a god, okay? I'm kidding.
Well, if you're just tuning in now, that might have been the wrong time to tune in. I don't know.
Yeah. That's going to be a little weird for some people.
Well, that's very good. So Jason Goldberg came in earlier and he said he was just in time for the Diamond story. So that's kind of where he came in.
Oh, yeah. Go back and watch the rest. There's good stuff in there. There's good stuff in there, man.
It is some really good stuff. You shared some good tips. And I hope the whole point of me having Dustin come on today was to try and help you break any of these barriers where you feel like if you're doing something on a regular basis, you're annoying, or it can't be done, or honestly, I just want people to leave this discussion and have in the top of their mind just being like, when can I take some regular everyday events and turn them into something of a story? And if you're scared to practice in email or social media or whatever first, just try and tell somebody a story every day.
Yeah.
Like in person, in the office or whatever, and just get into the habit of that. And
here's the thing, like, you don't even have to actively try. You're doing it every day anyway. You just don't realize you're doing it because you don't think that the stuff that you're doing is a story. Almost any time that you talk to somebody, you're telling a story. So yes, be cognizant of that fact, right? But also recognize when you're doing it. Because if you start to realize when you're doing it, you'll realize how fucking good you already are at it. You're already good at this. You are.
Think about some of the amazing stories that get told around a campfire.
Exactly.
Right?
And here's the thing, like, you can use campfire story. If you suck at stories, okay, if you think you suck at stories and coming up with your own, steal other people's. It's fine. It's totally cool. You can use other people's stuff. Hey, I was reading this book by Gary Halbert the other day, and in this book he talked about this thing, right? Yeah. Hey, I was watching this movie and they talked about this thing. Hey, I was doing this. You can use other people's stuff. Yeah, don't pass it off as your own.
Right, just reference where you got it from. Exactly.
That's all you have to do. It's way easier than you think it is.
I think the guy in the white shirt over on your end is on a loop, because every time he comes, he just keeps passing you from the same side. He's just doing circles.
Yeah, that's my cousin Colton, and my new business partner. He's been helping me out with a lot of stuff. So yeah,
awesome. He's a good. Well, I bet you could create a story about that.
I actually did the other day. I sent an email about that the other day.
No, but I mean about him looping around you.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, like him looping around and doing the same thing over and again, it's kind of like whenever you get the shitty copywriter who just keeps writing the same garbage over and over again. Right? There you go. There's an email. It's that easy. You know what I mean? Kind of like...
Or you're on this email list and you keep feeling like you're hearing the same thing over and over again.
Bam. That's a big thing too, right? That's a big thing. It's like I was talking to somebody the other day who they were on their email list, and that person talked about the same exact thing every single day. It's boring.
Yeah.
You don't be boring. Boring people. You know who's boring? Boring people. Boring people are boring. You're not.
Well,
boring,
I certainly don't think you're boring, Dustin.
No, I don't think you're boring. And I don't think anybody watching this show. I inherently believe that every single human on the face of this planet is interesting. They just don't know how to tell people that. all right? And you do it like this. You do it with kind of like. Kind of like is going to be your 3 favorite words if you just use them, right?
It's kind of
That's
like
the easiest way for me to explain how to write the emails. Is just use that, right? Use examples, stuff like that.
it's kind of like me trying to do a Facebook Live when my cat is now crawling all over my desk, and
Hang on a
there's a
second.
lawnmower in the background.
Yeah. Yeah, there is.
You know what? This is real life, and this is why I love live videos so much, because you can't control everything.
Exactly. We're humans.
So we're doing what we're preaching by showing people that real life things happen, and you just got to go with the flow. So, if anybody has any questions for Dustin or anything about this conversation today about sharing your story, telling stories, writing emails every day, Dustin is here and now before we close things up for the day. Or feel free to comment below in the comments, whether you're seeing this on Facebook or YouTube or wherever, and let us know, and we'll make sure we get you some answers. But I want to thank you for taking I think this was your lunch hour. That's why we
yeah.
To sit and chat with us. So you're probably going to have to try and quickly eat something while you're
I'm starving for you guys. Okay, that's what's happening now.
So I want to thank everybody that joined us live today, and thank all our replay viewers. And that's it for episode 10. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your fantastic afternoon in Oklahoma, right?
Yep, Oklahoma.
Yay. All right. Thanks so much. Dustin, you stick around here for a few more minutes and we'll wrap things up. And I'll say goodbye to everybody else. And I hope to see you next Thursday on the Creative Coffee Cafe. Be checking the page for when we're going to go live. Talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.